Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment. You can listen to The Mike O'Mara Show at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Let's get started.
It's the best of The Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara, Oscar Santana, and Rob Spiewak. And now, the best of O'Mara.
We are joined now back from New Orleans, Louisiana, where he has spent, it seemed like 3 weeks. Mr. Adrian Garcia is back.
I'm back, baby.
Adrian.
I'm sorry, Mike. I apologize.
Don't apologize.
Wow,
yet.
what are you apologizing
I haven't said
for?
anything to you. I'm just curious as to, it is the Hampton Inn and Suites, correct? That's what it is?
That's where I work, and that's where you guys stayed at, yes.
You want to talk in the front of the mic?
Yeah, that's a front fire mic, son.
He needs to be
That
turned
TV
up
isn't
a
working.
tad, too. He needs to be turned up a tad. So it's the Hampton Inn and Suites. My question to you, Oscar Santana and Mike O'Mara, two principals on the show with their lovely brides, stayed side by side in this fabulous Hampton Inn, and they had the Hampton Inn part. They didn't have the suite part.
Yeah, servants' quarters.
It was the two of the smallest hotel rooms I've ever
Should be
stayed
called
in.
the Hampton Hard to Get In.
Yes, and I understand you stayed in the heart of New Orleans, in the French Quarter, at the Homewood Suites, which are spacious, big rooms. And by the way, I should mention also at our hotel, Mr. Todd Moore stayed in a palace. He stayed in the presidential palace.
Two sides of the hotel. We were on the wrong side of the tracks.
Oscar has a little more knowledge of this, but that's all I know in the situation. And I was just kind of curious what's going on. Adrian, I'll kick it over to you.
Yes, so I do apologize about that. The lobby was great, though, wasn't it?
The lobby was beautiful.
We don't sleep in the lobby, son.
But you do have breakfast there.
Delish. The breakfast was Rob, did you have a small room too?
Yes, I had a walk sideways room.
Okay.
For different
reasons. Yeah, they were
reasons.
walk sideways rooms. Right.
Yeah, because I'm so fat, Oscar. Hey, you know what? The breakfast was great because I'm fat.
Yeah, the breakfast was great, except I understand that there is an efficient way to deliver egg products, but would it kill him just to scramble a dozen eggs back and put it in
they love the square egg
They like
portion.
the pre-done, pre-packaged, arrives on the back of a truck, put in a microwave egg. So only not, but you know what? It's a free breakfast at a hotel. Who cares?
Well, it's fine because New Orleans isn't about food.
Not about food at all.
No.
They could upgrade it.
No.
So, Adrian, back to our rooms.
Yes.
We were just kind of curious why the rooms were the way they were and why we happened to be outside of the French Quarter where it would have been
Yeah, you were so
convenient for
close to the venue.
Yeah.
We were so far away.
Yeah.
I honestly had no idea. When we booked these a long time ago, back in, I want to say March or April, I honestly just had no idea or no layout of the city. I had no layout of the
we
city.
said what venue we were at.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you said, hey, this is this. And you
Is
said,
it
this
true that
is
you
good as it
worked for the
gets.
Hampton Inn Company while you were there?
No, I did not. I wasn't working for them, no.
That was just a nasty rumor.
Do you-
Like when we have nasty rumors.
It was
on
a
the show, that
rumor.
never-
Wait, what was a rumor?
Okay, so this is the problem.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect here. The problem is I've paid for most of your vacation. It looks
We
like.
agreed to that, though.
No, I didn't. There's some real weird math you're doing,
Oscar,
lately.
we remember we could not get the really good employee rate, so we called the hotel with you pretending to be my brother.
Yes, I
Remember
remember that.
that?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I said for 3. No, you don't understand. I'm talking about the idea that you went for a week.
Yes.
You said that I
You
would.
only paid for Thursday through Sunday, though.
Yeah, the most expensive nights on your bill.
Which is what we agreed to back in March.
Yeah, but I didn't. I've never. The burn is this.
Yes.
You told me that the room nights. This is coming out of my pocket, by the way. I'll just be
I
nice for you,
appreciate that.
right? This is after I paid for your flight, right?
Thank you,
Oscar, I love
Oscar.
you.
Yeah, that's one he picked up from Dan O'Brien. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So again, I paid for your flight down there and
Yes.
back. And then you told me the hotels were going to be $30 a night. I did a rough math. I was like, I can pay $120 for the guys to stay in a hotel. And you said it was going to be 30
Yes.
minutes outside the city.
I do
Not in
remember that.
Not in the French Quarter for the up price for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Like I said, I had no idea what New Orleans was. I didn't know the French Quarter was New Orleans. I had no insight on what New Orleans was.
What is the name of the property? The Norwood Suites, what?
French Quarter? So I thought I was in.
So it's called the French Quarter
But I
in
did-
the name of the
yes,
hotel.
but I had no idea the French Quarter was like a big part of New Orleans. I had no idea about that.
Jesus.
I'm a
Buttonhead.
rude when it comes to travel.
Oh, you buttonhead.
Okay,
oh,
so-
my God.
So that's one, right?
Yes.
So when you called and said, hey, can I get your credit card for the 3 nights?
Yes.
Did you feel at all bad that you were staying for roughly 4 other nights that you had money for The reason why I pay for the trip is essentially...
Adrian, put up a GoFundMe for your hotel stay and give it back to Oscar.
Yeah,
Thank you
exactly.
very
I'd
much.
love to.
Well, my
I have
point is
spoken.
this. I only like helping people when they need help. You clearly don't need help.
Oscar, so this is what happened. I had to take out, since this was the first and end of the month, technically, I had to take out all my cash from my checking account, so none of my automatic payments for my bills would be taken out of my account. My account was overdrawn.
Cluster F
I have
right now.
Do you know
Yes.
that for multiple people, and I got a report just yesterday because he just got back this morning, essentially.
Yeah,
from
why
Nova.
is he coming back today?
Because Dan missed the metro, of all people. Dan missed the metro, even though he got to D.C. earlier, and had to go pick him up after I made the last train out.
Okay,
Rob,
it,
help
hold
me.
it, hold
I have
it.
no idea what
Hold
was
it.
just said. What was
All
just
right,
said?
let's restate the question.
Why
And
did
everyone
you get back
needs
to DC
everyone
so
needs to
late?
relax. Yes. What time did the Mike O'Mara show live end? If our clocks are all together,
Yes.
it ended at about midnight on Saturday.
Correct.
Right? When did you come back to DC?
I came back Tuesday morning.
Okay,
Or I'm sorry, Wednesday morning.
You are sorry. Why?
No, Tuesday morning. Tuesday was yesterday, pot-addled.
Correct.
Yesterday was
I came this
Tuesday.
morning.
Today is...
So
You came in, you arrived this morning?
this morning.
This morning, like 5 hours ago, Mike.
So
I'm
that
tired.
does not account for you're tired. That does not account for Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, and some of Wednesday.
Rob, do you know how expensive it is to fly on the weekends?
Is it as expensive to spend 4 days in New Orleans?
It's a push.
Extra days.
It's a push.
You know you're eating. You're going out. You have
I
to
wasn't
spend
eating.
money.
I wasn't eating.
There's hookers.
I was very fortunate. The listeners were very nice to take care of some meals for me. You know what was so embarrassing?
All
I
right.
had listeners.
No, I don't
No,
care
no,
what's
this is
so embarrassing.
embarrassing.
You're
This is
done.
the worst.
Thank you very much. We'll get
I love
more
you
on
guys.
this later on. Glad you made it back safely.
A week.
Dan O'Brien?
We paid for a week vacation.
Yes.
A week
Paid for
vacation.
Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
No better time to be able to do that. Thanks for fronting it, Oscar. Anyway,
Oh, I hope you saved receipts for any souvenirs. We'd like to reimburse you.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Thank you.
I paid them all.
In December, Rob Spivak, remember what Oscar said, out of his own pocket. Okay, just remind me of that. Okay, I'm so greedy right now. I'm so broke. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we will come back with more.
If you are a marijuana enthusiast, you are either thinking about the next time you're going to get it, how you're going to get it, where you're going to hide it. It's on your mind all the time.
That was my skull. I'm so wasted.
Score weed to find a dealer to get the good stuff.
Drugs are bad.
Oh my God, the Maui Wowie they have is the
I'm
best.
paranoid right now because I ate that cookie.
I am actually on LSD now.
The burning weed with its roots in hell.
Turn on, tune in, drop out, and subscribe to the TMOS Bonus Show.
The TMOS Bonus Show is an extra primo, top shelf fatty of laughs every week.
Don't harsh my buzz, dude. Subscribe to the TMOS Bonus Show and expand your mind.
Click the banner at MikeOMarashow.com and my guy will totally hook you up. Let's get some Cheetos.
The best of O'Mara.
Welcome to the Mike O'Mara Show. It's been a very, very long time since we have spoken with intern Mac, and then I want to talk to Dan O'Brien.
You didn't see Mac in New Orleans?
I did not see Mac in New Orleans. He unfortunately had to work at the Rent-A-Center and was not able to make it down to NOLA. I'm so sorry about that, Mac. I truly am.
I was very disappointed. I hope you guys had a great time. I was wishing you all the best.
Did we wake you?
Yes.
Okay.
I really regretted not going. I really wanted to go. I just couldn't pull it.
I bet he pulled it.
And I offered to use miles to send him down, and he said, "Oscar, I can't lose this job." And I said, "All right,
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
yeah."
Good for you.
He's all grown up.
I said it would be
He's all
fun.
grown
You can
up. Our
come
Mac's
down
all
and sit in the
grown up.
parking lot of the House of Blues and surf the internet. It'll be fun.
You know, Mac, we'll have other travels and we'll have other destinations, and New Orleans, maybe not the best fit. Just the way I would think.
Not
What's a
for
better
Mac.
city for Mac, do you think? Herndon?
The better city for Mac? Let me think. I'm thinking
Fargo.
Nationwide Fargo. Thank you. You win. You win. Been a long week.
To Mac
I had a
City.
tough time. Binghamton, New York.
Oh, it's lovely this time of year.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you're doing well?
I'm doing well, and I'm definitely planning for Las Vegas.
Oh, look
That's
at this
good.
guy.
That's good. So are we. We're very,
Solid
very excited
Wi-Fi.
about that. Yeah, very good
Good about
Wi-Fi.
that.
Good infrastructure.
Yeah, we'll have fun with you in Vegas.
I think they might have Google Fiber there.
Hey,
gigabyte internet.
But Dan O'Brien is back from his 12 days in New Orleans, Louisiana. And Dan, you were part of the Adrian Garcia controversy about our hotel rooms.
The tour.
Now, Oscar, what can you tell me about the logistics of Mr. O'Brien? You were saying Adrian basically went on your dime, and then Dan O'Brien was, what did he break into his parents' house and go in, like in once again the movie Sideways, where he went into the Coke can that's used as a safe in the sock drawer and took his father's money out or something like that? I'm not sure.
Dan, and I don't know if it's because Adrian has burned me so many times, but right. Dan, even when he burns me, he somehow finds a way to make it like Adrian's fault. So,
right.
But also you have to admit he has the safety net that about every 12 to 13 hours we get an email from Dan's mother.
We do.
Yes.
She's very sweet.
If there's any money owed, we'll take care of it.
She's
Look
very
after my boy.
Yes.
Is this true?
This is true.
She listens to the show, and she's so sweet every time we have him on.
What's your mom's first name, Dan?
Debbie.
Debbie, thank you for being so incredibly supportive
and
of the show.
Involved in the program.
Yeah, she's
I
awesome.
think that's marvelous. I think that's
Debbie.
absolutely wonderful. Dan, you arrived. When did you come back? With Adrian on the same flight?
No, thank God, not on the same flight as Adrian. I would.
I would think he would be the best travel partner because he doesn't take up any room.
The reason I bring up the flight is the only thing I heard, I think maybe Oscar passed this along, is it true that you were on the same flight with the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn in the Trump administration? Is that true?
That is true. The one and only Michael Flynn. I'm literally
this is the guy they're talking about might be the next one to have the old special prosecutor
Him and his son.
Sure.
hand into the indictment. What was the vibe like? Was there security around the guy?
There wasn't necessarily security, I couldn't tell, but there were a lot of people in very expensive suits traveling with him, and he wasn't just in business class. He was in first class with every single person in the suit that was with him.
Really?
You think he'd stop flying first class at that point, right? If you're being investigated,
You think maybe you would be like to blend in? You'd like fly Southwest.
I would just buy
Group B.
three in coach, and we all sit
Dan,
together.
tell the story. Were people staring at him? What was going on? This is a big. This is like right in the middle of a newsmaking.
Is he taller
situation.
or smaller in real life?
Yeah.
He looks angrier in real life, honestly.
Well, you would be too, pal.
Well, most
you
of
would
us do.
Well, I'm
So how
angry
did
that I
that-
had to deal with him.
How did it go down? Tell me your tale.
So I'm just sitting down reading a book that I brought with me, and all of a sudden, coming near the
book?
terminal.
Yeah,
Was it a Harlequin?
You gotta tell us the book.
No, because I'm a boring person who loves politics. I read a book by Henry Kissinger. But
Oh, look at this guy.
Wow, I love that. No, I love that we have an intellectual on our staff. That's wonderful.
Whoa.
Well, don't go crazy. It's a Choose Your Own Adventure by Henry Kissinger.
actually, it's a coloring book that Jimmy Cerrito gave me.
Why are you reading a book by Dr. Kissinger, just out of curiosity?
Because I don't know a lot about the Vietnam era, the late 60s, early 70s,
We
and
lost.
just wanted some insight
Yeah,
on
spoiler.
it.
Oh,
really need to
spoiler
know.
alert. Now you don't need to read the book.
Yeah.
If he came
Spoiler
in
alert,
second-
we lose.
Listen to the DJs. Listen to the DJs pounce upon the lad who may be inclined to expand his.
Mike, we know him
horizons.
better than you do.
Yeah.
The man can
Yeah,
read
that's their
all.
loss.
The man can read all he wants.
Yeah, he
He's
was
still
flipping
Dan
through
O'Brien.
looking for the sex parts.
He's still Dan O'Brien.
And then
Looking
she
for the
took off her
pictures.
blouse.
All right, everybody, leave
So
him
I'm
alone.
reading my book, and I
Oh,
look
hold
up.
on, Dan. Wait, we'll come back to you. We have to take a break.
Oh, it's a good idea.
All right, I'm sorry. We do have to take a break. When we come back, I want to find all about you and the Trump National Security Advisor, former Michael Flynn, and Henry Kissinger.
And his sex scene with Henry Kissinger.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Is the pot right? Are all of our little hens in the hen house now?
Yes.
Has everybody returned from NOLA?
I believe so.
I left
No
on
bodies
Sunday,
found, Mike.
and,
No bodies
Hi,
found.
FedEx lady. Hi, how are you? That's the FedEx lady. Always gives me a big wave.
Yeah,
she's
does.
really nice. No, she's really nice. Hello. I don't know your name. Yeah. Anyway, so
I think it's FedEx Felicia.
Thank you. Well, so I can say goodbye, Felicia.
Yeah, exactly.
When she leaves, is that what it is? You social media maven. Dan O'Brien, finally, last one to make it back from NOLA. So you're in the airport in New Orleans. You're reading your Henry Kissinger book. And suddenly, take it from there. What happens when this newsmaker shows up?
So I look up, and I'm literally thinking to myself, is this real life?
because this sort of stuff doesn't happen to me. I don't see famous people at airports. I've never seen anything like this. So I see him and he passes by me, and I'm thinking to myself after a couple minutes, maybe it wasn't him. Maybe I didn't get a good look at him. So I'm trying to do that thing where you think you know somebody and you're just trying to look over your shoulder but not be too obvious about it.
Right.
And I was being
exactly
totally obvious about it.
Now, are you excited like it would be like seeing a movie star, or are you just more as a guy that's into politics? Is it notable, or is it exciting?
It's both.
Okay.
It's both, because I know him and a lot of people might know him.
Sure.
You know, I'm a political junkie. I would recognize some faces that not a lot of people would recognize. But if I say
see,
Michael
now the
Flynn,
thing is, when you said you were trying to be inconspicuous, the first question I would have was everybody staring, because he's been in the news enough where this is a no, and the plane is going to Washington D.C. So were a lot of people staring?
it wasn't the sort of thing where people were whispering to each other like, is that Michael Flynn? Is that Michael Flynn? Is that Michael Flynn? It wasn't that. It was a lot of people trying to do what I was doing, trying to look over their shoulder and be as inconspicuous as possible. But I could tell what was going on, and people were just as shocked as I was.
Were you in first class?
No.
Why do you ask that, Oscar?
Well, just because, everybody runs around saying they're broke and then they're having five-star meals when you run into them.
Well, I'm not using your money. I'm not Adrian.
I'm not.
Oh, there you go. He just threw Adrian under the bus. He threw Adrian under the bus.
Snap. How was your...
In the face. In the face.
Do you think Adrian ran the rough math of how long and how much it would take him to stay in NOLA for a week compared to the 3 nights he could have stayed and left?
I don't think Adrian can really do that math, to be honest.
Well, you two were thick as thieves in New Orleans, though. You guys were hanging out a lot, right?
Hanging out is generous. I had to deal with Adrian for an entire week.
Oh,
Jesus
my God.
Christ.
Wow, we have a conflict. We have a conflict.
What a nice guy. What a nice guy. Salt of the
What
earth.
a nice guy. Let's get the Michael Flynn thing out of the way. So you're looking, you realize it's him. He's surrounded by guys in suits, and then you go to the back of the plane. And was there any press or anyone there when you got off the plane? Was there any obvious this is a newsmaker or a person
like
that's
a
about to be
TMZ
indicted?
presence?
Anything like that?
There was no TMZ present. There wasn't any press. But the weird thing for me was that once we got off the plane, everybody was going to baggage claim. But I never saw him try to pick up his bags. I never saw him go to the baggage claim like everybody else did. So I wondered if somebody else might have picked up his bag, or maybe for some reason did he just want to leave really quickly.
Did he fly into Dulles or National?
Into Reagan.
Okay, into National then.
So he go what? Why you put your hands? Because he didn't call it nationally.
I mean, I know that's the proper name, but I asked you an either or, and you gave me C.
Okay, calm down.
So glad I got you a gift,
calm
Rob.
yourself down. No, you just calm down. There's no need for hostility.
I understand. I just don't like when he beats up on Adrian, who's my favorite.
Oh wow! All right, let's get to this.
Reagan. He is not your favorite.
I know.
Let's get to this right now. So you were roomies with Diego, Adrian Garcia, for the entire time down in New Orleans, and you said we were not thick as thieves as much as we were kind of forced together. You're indicating that to me, right?
Right. I didn't have a good time when I was with Adrian.
Well, in New Orleans, Louisiana,
right?
Because the presence of that young man was able to ruin the greatest city in the world.
Rob, we got to lay this thing out here. All right, you say you didn't have a good time.
Let Mike steer.
All right, the first thing is the arrangements are made so that you are going to be bunking with Adrian. That's the way it was set up before the trip even began, right?
Right.
Okay, so you get down there prior to this trip. Did that news? Did you even process it? Did you dread it? Was there any premonition of traveling to New Orleans with Adrian? When we let you know that you were going to be bunkmates.
I was looking forward to it because in my mind, Adrian would seem like the person to have a good time with. If I was in New Orleans, I would want to go out and I'd want to party, and it seemed to me that Adrian would want to do the same. Boy, was I wrong.
Oh,
wow.
My goodness gracious.
Wow.
Now, I thought when I saw you two kids running around that you were just into New Orleans, that you were everywhere. I got the impression also that you guys were going to be out roaring with the listeners. And the social media posts I saw indicated that too. You're saying that he was not fun when you got down there?
When you said that you thought that both of us would be going out, half of that is true. I was going out very consistently, and Adrian basically just stayed in the room for the longest time.
Really? He just hung out and he wouldn't go out and like go see the sights of New Orleans?
Yeah.
Did you guys know?
I have a headache.
Oscar and Rob, did you know this was going on?
No, because the first thing Pony and I heard is that by Tuesday they had already found a listener and were out with him. Why?
I went down early.
I get the inside info.
Right.
Because look, to be fair, I also love mining for this information.
Sure.
So
you do, you little.
So I was like, hey, how's it going? And at every turn, it was, I hate Adrian, but not in a hate way, because he did this.
I hate him, but not in a hate way.
Yeah,
that's an interesting statement.
So
it's
not an overall hatred. It's incidental.
It's incidental.
Right.
He kept me up all night. All he does is like to be high. He likes to order 10 things from room service and eat them all. He's such a little guy.
So is Adrian nocturnal? Is he nocturnal like so many kids?
He's like a possum.
Nowadays?
Look, the nocturnal didn't help, but honestly, the one thing that really pissed me off more than anything else was just so much about the drugs. It was just too much for me.
Yeah.
And I roomed with the guy. Now, if you're the sort of person that you want to do that when you're at your own place, do what you want.
This is like Niedermeyer rooming with D-Day.
It's a disaster. That's what it is.
Well, because you should know, I actually had a pep talk off air because I didn't want it to be a joke with Adrian about drugs. I actually had a real serious talk with him yesterday. I was like, dude, look, I know this is like your shtick and your bit, but you have to get your life together.
Yeah, we're probably doing a bit of enabling there with making light.
We're not giving him drugs. We're not
giving him
or selling.
Or selling.
It's not like it was, not like it was 2 years ago.
Mike,
no, I'm just making a joke.
What does that even mean?
Mike, but this isn't an anti-pot referendum.
No.
It's if you're going to work with us, can you at least at some point try to be a little sober?
We have had experience with potheads before, and it has not ended well. It has not really ended well. The thing about Adrian is, I always thought, though, that he was, when it came to the hotel thing, that he was responsible.
He is responsible.
So he is responsible.
Yes.
But I knew he was a night owl, and I love the kid, by the way. I do. And you know what? And I feel tremendous esteem for both of these guys.
Yeah.
And I love seeing them out and about. I loved hanging out with the interns. When I took all the interns to lunch, it was one of the best moments. The beginning of my trip in New Orleans, it was great. We all went to the Central Grocery and had muffaladas.
Fantastic.
And it was special. It was a special moment.
And I want to clarify the reason why, and I've talked to Adrian offline a zillion times about this. The reason why Adrian's in the lot in life he's in right now, it's because of him. He literally will go to CVS and say, today I'm going to start a new day, and I'm going to buy echinacea, fish oils, Red Bull, onion rings, some smart popcorn, and he'll sit them in front of us and say, guys, this is going to take me to the next level.
Right.
Because
that's great. There's a problem right there.
Yeah, I mean, he thinks that's the formula for success. When the formula for success is hard work.
I can tell you this, that when I was flying back Sunday, the one directive I gave Adrian after the show, on Saturday night was that he said, I'm going to need my backdrop, my little Mike O'Mara show backdrop for the show when I get back to my home on Monday. So Sunday morning, you're going to have to get that over. He said, yes. He says, I called on the fourth ring. It was like, hello. This was probably at 8:30 in the morning, and it was obvious to me that he was a bit of a night owl. He was asleep, Rob. He wasn't doing bong hits. He was absolutely
kept me up all night.
Well, he's unfortunately he will have to defend himself because he's here, and I hope you don't have any skeletons in your closet, young man, because you know what, he's going to have an opportunity for counterpoint. But let's continue throwing him under the bus.
Yeah.
What else peeved you, Dan O'Brien, about Adrian? Oh wait, you know what? I'm sorry. Look, I didn't know this was coming.
Right.
And by the way, Mac, don't be sad. We'll talk to you all day on Friday's show.
Tony Jurgensen, good to see you.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
Hot dog.
Sonny was a great quarterback.
Accustomed to getting his way.
A man who probably had permanent damage done to his ass because of the amount of kissing for his entire life.
Excuse me, Mr. Jurgensen. My name is Rob Spiewak, and he holds up his hand like Caesar. He says, I know who you are. He waves to me, but he never takes the plum out of his mouth. Getting kind of crowded in here, Jim. Getting kind of crowded.
Hot dog.
If there was a podcast Hall of Fame, the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show would be the first inductee. It's what keeps the daily TMOS episodes coming to your device every day. Order a Bonus Show subscription today at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
The best of O'Mara.
We've established the fact that he's an auto. We've established the fact that he's staying in the room. We've established the fact that he's not going out. Yes, Rob.
I have a question. You said that he ordered a lot of room service. Now, they're really, if you are financially strapped, if you're challenged in a money way, room service is not the most economical way to feed yourself.
Did he eat room service, Dan?
Well, that wasn't room service. That was a lot of food that he had made. So it wasn't.
What do you mean he had made? Like he brought with him in a suitcase? What's going on with that?
No, he put the bread in the toaster and made toast, and then cooked some of the other stuff that was there.
There was a toaster?
Yes. There's a toaster in the room. Yes.
Oh, you see, I forgot. He stayed in one of those efficiencies.
Yeah,
he stayed in a real
And a
suite.
large-
He stayed in a large room with a living room, and a couch. Well, I was staying in a closet.
Blame Adrian. I'd had nothing to do with cooking it.
I'm sorry, Mike. There'll be no toast for you.
No toast for me. Toast. Hey, who am I? Jim Nance? Listen, I want my toast almost burnt, and that's why I decided to carry a picture of it. That's a true story. He carried a picture of the burnt toast he wanted because he never got it right in a restaurant. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine, seriously, the average server in a low-level breakfast restaurant that gets that picture? You take that back to the chef and go, excuse me, the man in table 4A would like his toast cooked like this. And I would take and go, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
He wants the expectoration platter.
So he's making his own food. What else, Dan? I tire of this story.
So the last part of it, the thing that really just tied up all of the angst that I had towards Adrian throughout the week was when we got back. So we had separate flights coming back from New Orleans into Reagan National.
Right.
We were arriving at approximately 10:15. He was scheduled to arrive a little bit later, and his flight got delayed. So I had already picked up my bags by the time that he texted me saying that he is in. He says that he is at baggage claim 2A, and I'm at baggage claim 16. So I tried going into where I assume 2A is, and I realized it's in a whole different terminal.
Right.
So I get it. I really, really, and this, Dan, you've said a lot of things about him, but right now I'm tracking with you. So what he's saying to you is he's delayed. You got all your stuff. You're tired. It's been a week in New Orleans. You'd like to beat feet because he's on a later flight that got delayed. How many hours is his flight in back of yours?
His flight is probably about 45 minutes to an hour behind me.
But late at night, that's an eternity.
Yes.
And that's probably, you're talking about an hour and a half if you're talking about baggage claim and everything.
Beat down.
He wanted you to come and help with all the stuff, right? Is that it?
Right. And what happened was he said on yesterday's show that I was the reason that he ended up being late. But what really happened was that when I finally got my bags and I saw that he had landed, I texted him saying, stay there. I will get you. I will take care of the bags with you. My phone is dying. Now, if you get some sort of text like that, do you stay where you are, like I say, or do you go somewhere else just to mess with me and make things difficult?
Dan O'Brien, I'm going to stop you right there because now I'll tell you where you got me, and you probably have Oscar and Rob and a lot of our listeners. The fact is you did not rebuff him and chuck it and say, F it, I'm just going to go, which, I'm exhausted.
Most people would be like,
your
good
plane
luck,
is
man.
late.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm out.
can you deal with this, buddy? I want to go home.
Can you
I want to
rent
go
a
home
smart
and get a
cart
good night's sleep.
and make the
You
best
are
of it?
You are willing to go over there and help with the baggage. What did he do? Did he split?
So my phone had died before I got there. So I go to the terminal, to the baggage claim, and I look around for probably a minute or so and say, is he that short or can I just not see him?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
So
Personal.
You're not a redwood yourself there, boy, but go ahead. All right, go ahead. All right. So,
yeah, but he's barely a sapling. Anyway.
Well done.
Thank you. So we are at his baggage claim where I told him to stay so we could meet up and get back together.
Right. Stay there, you little idiot.
Exactly. Verbatim. So I go there and I don't see him. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I pull out my phone charger and charge my phone, and I turn it on, and I realize that he has left for the metro station without me.
Oh my God! After he told you to linger back,
he abandoned me.
He abandoned you. And how much had you delayed? And between the time you got all of your stuff where you could have left and the time that you find out that he has beat feet, how much time passed?
At least a half hour.
A half hour.
So
That's
the
honest.
metro
That's an honest answer.
The metro station closes down. He told me at midnight. I found out later that it was 11:30 because.
Were you relying on Metro to get back to where you needed to get?
Yes, I was going to Metro from National to Wheel Reston on the Silver Line, and then get a shuttle back to the hotel, and then drive
home.
home.
A sense that there's going to be another side of the story.
I think there's going to be many sides, and I think this could result in some sort of ultimate fight.
Can't wait.
The squared circle.
So how did the date end? What happened at the end of all this?
So what happened was he had gotten to the Metro, and luckily for him, he was able to get the last train. I was not able to get the last train because I went over to his baggage claim to help him with the damn bags.
Oh my God, that's where all the anger comes from, is it? Dan?
You hit the nail right on the head.
Oh man, I like Dan O'Brien's stories. He's good. He's probably one of the more articulate interns that we've had. It's
so, and that's high praise.
I figure worst case scenario, if we both miss the Metro together,
you'll share a cab.
Yes, we could share a cab. We could share a lift.
Yes.
He leaves me behind. And so instead of maybe us splitting a $40, $35 lift and just going and both being able to afford it,
yes,
because he can afford everything since he has so much money, then...
Wow.
He loves telling people, Mike, and I've gotten multiple reports because I have a
Who
bunch
does,
of
Dan or Adrian?
Adrian does, telling people he has a lot of cash on him.
At one point during the weekend, over the weekend, didn't you say he pulled out like a stack of 20s or something?
He has cash all the time. And what he doesn't realize is that when he does it to the person who's paid for everything and to stay there, essentially,
right,
it burns me. But when he tells other listeners, they love telling me. Yeah. He's told other listeners that all he has on him is a lot of cash multiple times. What's the story with all the cash?
I don't know. You expect me to be able to read the mind of a stoner. What am I supposed to know?
Oh, my God. Hey, all right. Can I ask you this, Dan O'Brien?
Absolutely.
Were there any good times with young Adrian on the trip?
Well, when he was sleeping, he wasn't talking too much. That was nice.
Oh, my God.
Did it even start out well?
It started out okay, but it was just thing after thing after thing, and that the last day.
All right, let me ask you this. I have to ask you this as well, too, because on social media, and I observe this, and Carla even does this, and I think everybody that went to New Orleans knows this. Dan, did it frustrate you how lovable Adrian was in everybody's eyes? Rob, did you get that vibe? Look at Adrian.
Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. It's like we were traveling with a puppy. Cute and useless. And occasionally soiling the carpet.
Why are you down on him? He didn't do anything to you, did he?
Yeah, no, but you know what? I put myself
You like the political boy.
No, well, Dan has painted a very, very solid case against the puppy.
Sometimes you got to get rid of the puppy.
And if it hadn't been for the puppy, then maybe I wouldn't have gotten home at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And Oscar started the ball rolling when he was talking about Adrian halfway through, maybe the day we got there. Oscar was already rolling on the trip, the talk about Adrian.
He burned us on the hotels.
Right.
And his cavalier.
He did indeed.
You know what? Again, it's for someone that's supposed to be so considerate, he's so inconsiderate. Because when he called in,
he better come in. Is he coming in next week? Because
yes,
he's got to.
He's got
not if he hears this show.
The morning of our trip to New Orleans, a Thursday, we were flying out at around 12:31, 1 p.m. Right. Mm-hmm. I get the call after I've been talking to him all week about our accommodations, things that need to be done. He goes, like I said before, and maybe you're just listening now, so now you know.
And I watched this call go down live.
He says, I just want to confirm that you have the card for Mike's hotel room because you were checking in early. I said, did you not think to ask me this when I'm not about to board a plane or, right before the trip? And he's like, I'm sorry, man, I get it. I was like, here's the number. And he wrote down the number wrong twice. And then we finally got the number right. And then he called me back. I didn't even tell you. He called me back. and said, "This is not working." I said, "It's a Visa." And he goes, "Oh, I thought it was a MasterCard." I said, "No, I said it was a Visa." Like, this whole transaction's going.
So
and
he was problematic.
No, but that's it. And then you think that's enough to annoy you, right?
Right.
Then he's like, "I just want to confirm I'm here with Dan O'Brien." He rolled you into the mix.
Shocker.
And remember, you said you would pay, and I said, "Well, how much is that? Pay for our 3 days here." And it was $30 a night.
You're very frustrated.
And then he went
with
into
him.
$300 plus
I
dollars.
know. I know.
And I said, but when I ask him this, this is the conjuring side of Adrian. When I ask him this in person or off air, or whenever I can communicate with him when he's not high, he's like, "But that's what you said." And I'm like, "I said 3 days." Yes, but he found the most expensive 3 days.
Do you know what Adrian's favorite way to start a sentence is?
What's that?
Don't you remember? The guy that couldn't find his way to here from CVS if he didn't have a path.
Well, I've worked with plenty of people that have done that. That is for sure.
Hello, it's Bernie. And you know what I hate? Well, frankly, I hate most everything. But I really hate splinters. They hurt, and I'm always losing my tweezers, and it's frustrating. So, what's the solution? Stop it at the source. Make sure all your wood is smooth. Go to the Mike O'Mara Show Shopping Center and buy one of their fantastic Bernie sanders. Plug it in and go to work in your wood shop. Your raw lumber doesn't stand a chance. Smooth as a baby's ass and no more splinters. They sell tweezers too. Target and Walmart, they sell it all. Just access it at MikeO'MaraShow.com. Feel the burn.
The best of O'Mara.
Well, they're both in the room. Anybody who's a regular listener to the Mike O'Mara Show knows. I hope not. I don't want a battle royale.
We'll see.
It's Dan O'Brien and it's Adrian Garcia. They're both here today. Have you boys spoken personally and resolved your differences since we had the altercation on the air?
We have not spoken, no.
There was awkward small talk before the show, and I shut it down. I said none of this yet.
Yeah, no.
Were you? Who was starting the small talk?
Of course, it was Adrian.
Yeah.
Well, I would have thought. I chance that it could be either one of them.
You see,
Dan
the
O'Brien
problem is he's a motor mouth.
Yes.
Blabbermouth.
Motor mouth.
And he also wanted to diffuse the tension that was in the room.
Yeah, he hates silence.
So Dan, what's the? You're still upset about New Orleans, correct?
I'm half and half. Part of me really wants to stay mad and just let this thing simmer.
Right.
But part of me recognizes that the holidays are upon us, and I want to be a forgiving guy.
Dan loves simmering.
Let's go with the first half.
Dan O'Brien, Adrian, I don't want you to feel bad about this. Okay, I really don't.
So what you're going to say is not
so what
meant
I'm gonna
to hurt.
say, it's not to hurt you. But
okay, I'm ready.
The Dan O'Brien, based on his communication skills,
he has evolved.
I don't want you to feel bad about this.
No.
But based on his communication skills on Mike, he's like really racing up the hit parade.
Oh
on
my
the
God,
interns
he's
right
secretariat and you're a mule.
You know, Rob,
He's not a mule.
I'm trying
No,
to
he's not a mule.
handle this with
He
responsibility.
just doesn't have the right jockey.
Adrian, I know you came back from New Orleans and you felt unfairly put upon.
Yes.
You two guys probably aren't going to be the best of friends, but I want you two to be able to.
Yeah, it was a nice prediction.
Work together. Where do you see? What's your emotional state right now?
I mean, there's no animosity between us. I mean, I like Dan. We're friends. We're still friends. We'll still be friends.
Dan, do you concur?
It depends on whether or not I get an apology.
Dan, what are you mad at?
Okay, all right. There we are.
Okay.
There we are.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Adrian, do you feel as though that he is owed any kind of apology?
Absolutely not.
Oh
no.
Oh, okay.
Well, someone's going to simmer then.
You.
So why now? Why? Yes, Oscar. Feel free to referee.
Okay.
You're there. I'm down here.
Dan,
It's a good place to be, Mike.
And let's not talk over each other. Let's let each other talk, all right? Dan, name 3 things that you think he should apologize to you for.
I think he should apologize for smoking so much weed in the room when I was there.
One.
I think he should apologize for leaving me at the airport at midnight in the cold.
Two.
And I think that overall, he should apologize for not considering my feelings and trying to help, since this was my first live show and I depended on him for help.
3. No guidance.
He, I think, has clearly presented his case. Adrian, is there any part of you that finds this understandable?
I find it understandable, but Dan doesn't see it from my perspective.
Okay, let's hear your perspective.
Number one, I wasn't in the room smoking weed.
That's a lie.
I mean,
hold on. All right. So, did you smoke weed in the hotel room?
I was
when Dan was in the room with you.
I was vaping. I was using a vaporizer. And
hold on. Did the vape have marijuana in it?
It did, but it didn't smell like weed, though. The room never at one point smelled like weed.
That's not the point. Contradicted yourself. That's so you were smoking weed in the hotel room.
When someone says smoking weed, you picture them like hitting a bowl or something.
You don't picture you're either smoking it or you're not smoking it. I am sorry.
You're doing heroin if you're snorting it or shooting it. It's still heroin.
There's the buzzer for you. Point 1 goes to O'Brien. I will hear no more arguments on this. Point number 2. Point number 2. What was his second point?
The airport.
How many times?
Leaving it. Okay, what's the deal with the airport? Dan, recap the whole thing. He left you at the airport, you allegedly, or what?
Yes. I arrived earlier than him. His flight got delayed. I went to his terminal to help with the bags, and then I get a text because I have to pull out my charger since my phone had died that he had left me when I told him to stay where I was going to be.
Got it.
And he leaves me at the metro. He gets the last train. I have to lift.
Adrian, counterpoint.
One of us had to make it back, Dan.
No, that's
not true. I texted you twice.
Hold on.
Do
what
not
do you mean by
come to my baggage claim.
Adrian, what do you mean one of us had to make it back?
Because if we don't make it back, then we both have to lift all the way to the hotel.
Which is better for both of us economically.
Okay, let me say what happened when you say one of us has to make it back. That means you are essentially abandoning the team, because if you both had to lift together, the lift fee would be the same and you could split it. But what happened is you said, aha, I can go via Metro and save myself money and stick Dan with the entire check for the lift. Is that right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
I told Dan twice.
Be clear as to how I was incorrect.
Because I told Dan, we could have split the lift. I had no problem with
that's what I
the
just
lift.
said, right?
I had no problem with that. But the plan was to take the Metro because we both had Smart Trip cards.
Dan O'Brien, was the plan to take the Metro?
The initial plan was to take the Metro, but I have a problem with me being left behind and him not meeting me at the Metro, because if I was there at the Metro, he shouldn't leave without
me.
And also,
no I in team.
And I hate to almost be your devil's advocate here, Adrian, but I have to ask, did you know it was the last train?
No, I did not. I knew it closed at 11:30, but
so
I did
you
not know.
assumed it was the last train?
I didn't assume anything.
Then why did you get on and not wait?
Because it was cutting close. I didn't want to risk it.
In your head.
Okay, no, I get that. He said it's cutting it close. He thought that if he waited, he wouldn't be able to get the Metro, and he'd be stuck with the lift fee.
But it was a bad decision on all sides for him.
I texted him twice to meet me at the Metro stop, not to come to my baggage claim.
Dan, did he text you twice?
It's hard for me to tell because my phone was dead and I had to keep charging and charging.
I am ruling point 2. I rule for Garcia.
Oh, 1-1.
Yeah, I'm ruling for Garcia.
It had to be close, though. Had to be close.
It was a close thing, but look, point 1, unbelievably on O'Brien's side. Point 2. If Adrian had not texted and not been thoughtful enough to text, this would be a moot point.
But the
fact is, no, it is a gray area simply because he did try to communicate.
Okay.
And when he didn't get a response, I would be the same way. And unfortunately, the dead cell phone, by the way, which is used, and I'm not saying you're being dishonest, Dan, because I believe you, but the dead cell phone just way too many times has screwed up communicating. Is that true? All right, point number 3, Dan O'Brien.
I felt that Adrian was inconsiderate with me because this was my first trip, and I did not know.
For the overall trip to New Orleans.
Yes,
not
and
supportive.
I can provide several instances if you would like.
Good.
Could you mention the Halloween night?
Yes. In particular, Halloween night was the first night that Adrian and I had gotten into the hotel.
God, they were there a long time. Like, they were there Halloween night.
Tour.
A month before the show.
It was an entire week. Trust me, I know. And so I went out and he did not, and I was disappointed because I wanted us to go out together and have a good time together.
Adrian, why did you not go out on Halloween night, one of the biggest nights, and for New Orleans? Why did you not go out with Dan O'Brien on Halloween night?
Because to me, Halloween isn't that big of a deal. Halloween is my little brother's birthday, so growing up, we always celebrated Halloween with his birthday.
Was your little brother with you?
No, but I wrote him a postcard that night. I was working on Pony's best ofs. That's what I was doing. No. It was my task, though. It was my task. It was my job.
Oscar working for the show.
Oh, damn.
A major trump card pulled out.
I respect that, but it took you a week to do that.
Yes.
That was because you procrastinated, and that's on you.
Exactly.
All right.
Dan, I need more clarity because I'm not sure how I feel about this one. This is the rubber game of the match here, so I have to find out. Did you feel that he didn't want to go out just because he didn't want to be your pal, or did you feel like he just wasn't motivated to leave the hotel? That maybe it was like getting ready to go out. What was he pot-addled? What was going on?
I'm not really sure. It just seemed like he wasn't motivated like I was to go out and to have a good time. And to me, that was just a little bit upsetting. And I have
you wanted to do a little bonding.
Yes, I wanted to bond with him like I was bonding with the listeners and bonding with everybody that went out on Thursday night and on the several nights when everybody came into New Orleans.
Yeah.
Adrian, what do you say? The last point is yours.
Dan,
before I make my final ruling in this inquisition.
We traveled on that Tuesday. Do you know how exhausting traveling is? I mean, I had to talk you off a ledge on Tuesday night, Halloween night, because you had a wardrobe malfunction with your costume.
Oh, I didn't know he had a costume.
What kind of costume? What kind of costume?
I'll send you a picture, Mike. I'm about to send you a picture right now.
For Halloween.
Okay.
What was a wardrobe malfunction? What was it?
Dan's too fat and broke his straps on his fireman costume.
Wow.
I mean, Dan was literally almost in tears. His face were in his hands. I was like, Dan, you look fine, dude. Like, don't worry about it.
All right.
Adrian, you are a dick.
Yes.
This poor man is clearly still wearing his medium-sized shirts. He doesn't know he's a large
I was
yet.
the only one that cleaned up after the show. Where was Dan?
Oh, you know what? No.
Obviously at the buffet.
He's
so fat.
I have to say, regardless of his wardrobe malfunction,
he's a fireman.
Can I please share that? You're gonna love this, Mike. You're gonna love this.
Okay. All right.
Yesterday, as I'm getting debriefed on this trip, again, it's been 2 weeks of debriefing from New Orleans. Dan that night met a young lady, a nurse.
On Halloween night?
On Halloween night. And he went to her place.
Oh.
Yeah, so he can't be that fat.
Yeah.
If he's laying the lumber.
Another wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, was she puffing on anything in the hotel room?
Okay. Rob! Time and a place. We have to take a break. Oscar, we might not get to Oscar's take. We have to wrap this up with Dan, and it's just too damn good. We'll take a break.
He's too fat.
He broke his fireman costume.
His fireman costume. Hey, let me tell you the dirty joke about the fireman and the nurse. We'll take a break. Come back with the end of this saga right here on the Mike O'Mara Show. All right.
Wait, check your phone, Mike. Check your phone.
Yeah, it's very important. Wow. This breaking news.
Because we have photographic evidence
and a show picture.
Oh yeah,
I love that picture. I love that
of Dan and his fireman's costume.
Dan O'Brien. Look, I'm not necessarily going to rule for him on this debate, but he has, as I said, he is climbing the comedy ladder in my eyes.
Hey Dan, would you be okay if I use this on my Christmas card?
I'd be happy to.
Did you?
I'll do a whole spread.
This is what's great about Dan. His costume breaks.
Hey, ladies.
He's dressed up as a fireman.
Yeah.
Can I put out a fire in your
Adrian, hold on. I want to get back to this.
This looks like clip art from 1989.
Adrian, the dude, listen, I can relate to the dude wanted a wingman, Adrian.
Yeah,
come on,
we
help
were
him
in
out.
New Orleans. He was going to have a wingman the entire week.
But you didn't go out.
Halloween.
How old are you, Adrian?
I'm 25. I'm too old, Mike.
No,
I want
you're
a quiet
not too
night
old.
in. I had work to do.
No, you're unmotivated.
I
you
heard
smoke too much weed.
Yes, I heard all your main focus the entire trip was how do I get high?
Yep. No.
Do I go out? No, I'm gonna get high. Let's go out. No, I'm gonna get high. You just got high.
That's
it
all
was
you
a
did.
business trip.
Yeah,
You still got high.
you got high the entire time.
Your business was to get high. That's the business.
Dan partied the entire beginning of the week, then stayed in the entire end of the week.
Because he was
because I
broke.
couldn't afford it.
Because he gambled all his money away.
Yeah, that is true, but that has nothing to do with this. We all have vices.
I really want an honest answer here. I mean, the fact is,
Diego
just weren't
is so mad.
You weren't
sizzling.
Is he mad? Is he mad?
The face that he puts on, because he's got a face when he's happy, which usually the high
Diego,
face.
I ruled in your favor on the leaving behind thing.
Yeah.
Because you sent the text. That was a win for you. You're 50-50 right now. We haven't wrapped up the decision yet.
I guess.
But the thing about
this is my new screensaver, by the way, if you can see it from there.
That is so great.
For those of you at home, it's Dan O'Brien in his fireman's costume.
These two gems, baby. I did not expect it to be
are
this
welcome,
joyful.
ladies.
Oh my God! So it's he wanted a wingman. Was it just? Come on, were you just too lazy to want to go out?
No, I mean I was
or
tired.
motivated.
All right, when you were doing the best
same
of,
as lazy.
when you were doing the best of that night, when you ostensibly stayed into work because it's a business trip, were you vaping? Tell the truth.
I mean, yes, I was. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
there you
wanted
go.
to stay in and get
You
high.
wanted to stay in and get high.
Were you
advantage? I'm sorry, advantage
Yeah.
O'Brien.
Were you
that
jealous
means
when he got to, go to some young lady's house in the French Quarter?
Definitely wasn't young. It was like a mother of 4.
Not a mother of 4.
Maybe mother of
5
5 now.
Yeah.
Mother of 4.
Why are you
not
mad?
jealous.
Why are you mad at Dan?
Because Dan spent the entire week being late for everything.
What?
Oh, this is a new
What?
wrinkle. A new wrinkle. Dan O'Brien, what say you?
I have no clue what he's talking about.
Starting on Tuesday, I should have known. There should have been foreshadowing. What time were we supposed to meet at the hotel to go to the metro? 9:30. What time did we leave? 10 o'clock. I was at the hotel 9:30
Dan,
a.m.
were you late? Were you late to start the trip?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, I'll show you the text. But I'm right and he's wrong.
Dan does not have, neither of them have the best track record for being on time for the show. So I'd be okay. I'd be okay saying that probably one of them was late. One of them had to get there first, obviously.
This is really close to a push, in my opinion. This is close
tough.
to a push. I understand completely the timing thing. I understand that for Adrian. I don't think that when you are in an environment with somebody that really isn't cool,
it's like a bad roommate in college
with your substance of choice, that you do that. You've got to control yourself, but I think you're psychologically addicted to it. And that's probably why you do it. I mean, we've talked about it, but I don't know. I'm not your keeper. I don't know what's happening. So that's it. But when you talk about punctuality and Adrian demonstrated to me probably only maybe 2 occasions that I know where I wanted him to be somewhere and bing bang.
He was
and
there.
I know he was sleepy the day that I
Not
was
in
leaving.
his car.
No.
And he walked in. We finished breakfast, and we walked into the lobby, and there he was.
And it only
which was
took
flawless
60
timing.
texts from me and Oscar to make sure he was there.
Oh, really?
Are you
now,
up?
Rob, would you like to weigh in on that?
Well, there were several instances when Adrian was key to your experience being right, checking into the hotel, picking stuff up, and I would say that in those
He's
instances,
responsible there.
Oscar and I were pushing him the entire way to make sure everything was okay.
He was a liability for us.
He might have been okay without the texts, but we weren't willing to take that risk.
Yeah. A lot of wrangling.
Did you feel that we were over babysitting you with the amount of texts that were rolling in?
A little bit, but I appreciate that though because you guys were looking out for me.
That's that's Dan's catchphrase.
And you know what? The end result is what I cared about because at the end of the day, I thought it was okay. We all we had our postmortem on the weekend, and we know everything that was good and
Did
bad.
Did you meet any women,
it.
Adrian?
Just listeners.
No
locals.
No sure things like
Dan
Merle?
O'Brien, have you maintained contact with the nurse?
No, I have not.
Sure things.
Attaboy. No, I'm sorry. I don't know. I shouldn't give him an attaboy. Not in this plan.
He said he went into her bathroom and there was poop on the floor.
Dog poop.
For children's poop.
No! Oh, God.
Kids poop?
It was either a kid or a dog. I don't know.
But
with
she's
a mother
not
of
clean.
Either a big dog or a small kid.
Doesn't keep a clean house. That's not cool. That's not cool.
Dan, I tucked you in, bro.
What?
I tucked you in, man.
What the
this
hell
guy
are you
comes
talking
in
about?
at 5 a.m. all drunk.
Oh.
He just plops on the sofa bed. I'm like, you know what? He looks pretty cold. I'm going to throw a blanket on him.
Did you
And
really?
he calls me out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
you know
my
he did
God.
that
And
Paul
touched
gives
his
him
balls.
You have
I
to.
don't know.
All right. On
He
that
won't
note,
remember this.
boys, you're gonna have to work it out on your own.
I'm a nurse.
By the way, it's a push.
Oh,
Last
no!
point, we don't have a I don't have a verdict. I can't do
rematch.
it. I truly can't do it. But
You got to run a rematch.
You boys are gonna have to just patch it up. You're gonna have to
I
work
just
together
got
again.
this just now. My mom says, Adrian all the way, Dan is a square.
A square.
From Glenda.
From Mama Blue.
Glenda. You don't get a vote, Glenda.
Oh, I think I just figured something out.
Oh.
Maybe the same reason Glenda didn't seem to react with any appreciable joy when you got the trip to Japan. Anyway, let's.
How dare you!
You see that? Seriously, I was like,
maybe she was stunned.
Well, she knew, didn't she?
anyway, we'll take a break and come back with the last audio fall of the week. Well, she didn't. I noticed it.
Shocked and
like,
stunned.
I cried. I had tears in my eyes. I had effing tears in my eyes. I'm like, Glenda, where's the emotion here?
Yeah, I cried because there'll be no one to post best of that week.
One question. Pony, you don't need to answer this. Does Glenda like...
I don't have to answer that.
Okay. All
right.
He speaks volumes.
The Fox Network is responsible for some of the most useless competition shows in the history of television. The Masked Singer, So You Think You Can Dance, I Can See Your Voice, Beat Shazam, Alter Ego, The Masked Dancer. And now the Fox Network has come up with the stupidest, most pointless, and confusing competition show ever. I Can Hear You Dance. Masked judges score masked dancers based on the sound of their dancing. Sound confusing? You bet it is. I Can Hear You Dance. It'll have your wang tips smoking.
On my left foot. On my right foot.
Who wins? Who loses? Who cares? You'll always be a winner when you buy the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show. Subscribe today at MikeO'MaraShow.com. I Can Hear You Dance is produced by a live bear and only on Fox Midnight.
The best of O'Mara.
A bit of a feeding frenzy out in the shopping areas. Only did one day, one morning actually, probably less than 2 hours, but it was enough for me. It was enough for me with the people picking women in particular. There's my first sexist comment of the holiday season. Yes.
Was there an urgency? Was there an urgency among the female populace?
There is a lack of value of personal space. Or respect of personal space.
Now, I don't want to be devil's advocate here, but was it so crowded? Because I've been in situations where it's so crowded you cannot observe personal space protocol because of the amount of bodies.
It was not that crowded.
Okay,
it was not that crowded because.
So you were not at the Coach outlet.
This was the outlet mall, and this was one particular store, and I did not buy anything. I did buy something. I bought this lovely Callaway golf shirt.
You look great
for $19.
Change back on a 20.
I think that's a pretty amazing deal. That was it for me. But the picking over and the when people are in the retail frenzy, they don't observe. The norms of
there
just
are
deals
deals
to
be
your
had,
space.
Mike.
That's
right.
But we'll talk about that later.
Because
I want to hear
it's midnight on a Thursday. You need shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody in any of your families head out on the day itself, on Thanksgiving Day?
My brother-in-law, they moved to a new home in Florida, so they needed a television for their bedroom. I said, if you go out in my presence anywhere but to Amazon.com and sit here and hang out and drink drinks with me, adult beverages, you are not my brother-in-law anymore.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Oscar is the greatest single advocate for Amazon.
Carrie and Julia actually put in some Black Friday hours at the outlets to pick up some bucks.
I felt for your wife who had to open the store at 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving. Or noon, right?
She was there at 6. She loves to not have Thanksgiving with my family somehow. She always finds a way. Always. Yeah.
What, no, so you think this is a conspiracy?
No, I just think I think she's miswired somehow. I think she doesn't. I think there's some.
Now let's stop this right here. Let's talk about it. Now the fact is, before a little history here. Your wife, who is obviously working 2 jobs now,
yes,
is somebody who worked in the retail business for a very, very long Jones,
time.
New York.
Jones of New York, yes. Mm-hmm.
Jones of New York, and she has taken on some of the holiday hours at another retail store. Would you like to give them a plug?
It's a shoe store. I'll just say it's a shoe store.
It's a shoe store. And so she had to work on Thanksgiving.
She doesn't wear a referee shirt, if that'll help.
What about is it an UGG store?
It is not an UGG store, but this is not a guessing game.
UGGs for men.
But she's bringing in those holiday dollars for the family, and you're indicating that she does this maliciously.
No, I don't think
simply
it's malicious.
Be away from your family.
I don't think it's malicious.
DSW?
I think there's a part of her. It is not DSW.
Damn it!
I think
DSW
there is
for men, underrated.
There is a part of her.
Rack Room.
No, it's not Payless. It's not Payless. I can guarantee you that.
Tell where the Mike O'Mara show does it.
Yeah.
Marshalls. I think there is a part of her that enjoys the not struggle, but the excitement and the sort of frenzy of Black Friday.
I can't go.
No, I don't.
I gotta
no,
work.
I don't think it's that. I think
well, what
ideally,
is it, Rob? For God's sakes, you're the one that started this. She said she doesn't want to spend Thanksgiving with your family.
Where does she work?
What is the truth? You got to own it or not own it. What's going on?
She loves my family, but she prefers being a part of the mix. And that's the place to be right at that moment.
What do you mean part of the mix? She likes being out in the retail world?
I think she likes being part of that Black Friday madness. I think she
enjoys going out to work in retail on Thanksgiving and the holiday?
Somehow I think she does, and she might not admit it.
Have you discussed this with her?
No, I don't like talking to her that much about it.
Is that don't like talking to her in general or don't like talking to her about it?
Yeah, it's sort of a Venn diagram. They all overlap. And also, the fact remains. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Let me ask you this. So when she's getting ready, when you're like on your 8th old fashioned.
Right.
By the way, my mother-in-law is in town, and she said, what's that drink that has the orange and it's got bourbon in it? I said, oh, that's my man Rob can make you one of the best ones you've ever had. It's an old fashioned. Mm-hmm. She's taken to enjoying old fashioned. I didn't know how to make one, so I didn't make one for her.
Well, I can, it's on my website.
So you're on your
8th.
You're on your 8th old fashioned.
Okay, well we never got there.
And she's putting her coat on to go slay the dragon. Does this elicit sympathy from all the other people that are the slackers that are all on their turkey sandwiches?
It also
at this
makes
point?
Rob look like a rube. Like he's not providing enough. Like she's taking her second job now.
Don't
might be a little dude.
You know what I mean?
Really,
don't
need to really explain the fact that I'm a non-providing rube. Families accepted that for 20 years.
No, but now you're both working. You have essentially a full-time job on both sides. No, you do. I wasn't going to call your job a full-time job, but I gave you a full-time job. That's why I was standing.
Appreciate it.
So doesn't she get a lot of sympathy when she heads off to the
she does.
To the mall?
She does, but I think there is a part of her that
do you share in that sympathy? Or
I
do.
You
just got to look the other way.
I share in it, and
you
I
resent
say
it.
I don't resent it. I say I really wish that you were coming and having dinner with us, and you could spend the day with us.
Is it time and a half?
I don't know what the deal is.
Does she not even show up for the dinner?
Well, for a 6 o'clock she couldn't because it was like a 3:30
it was a 6
arrival.
o'clock. Oh, her start was 6.
So,
what time was dinner on the table?
Well, we were there at 3:30 for like a 5 o'clock dinner, so it really didn't work out.
Did she rest up?
She did.
Okay, all right.
An untraditional sleep schedule over the weekend. Yes.
Did she ramp it up on Wednesday night a little bit for the holiday?
No.
All right.
No. Wednesday night was mostly peeling potatoes for me.
It seems painful. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
It's so sad.
You know what? I wish my wife had been with my family for Thanksgiving.
You're bummed.
I was bummed. Yeah, I was bummed.
She'd rather be with strangers than with family.
Well, no. Well, yes. Me, no. Yeah, I thought you were being accusatory.
Just sitting there Oscar's like a tsetse fly, just sitting there hovering over trying to find open skin.
Yeah, and I'm trying to bat him away with my tail, my lazy hippopotamus tail. Sort of trying, but not really. And the whole thing was compounded by the fact I made a miraculous repair at my house over the holiday.
That's what you really wanted to talk about.
And no one
not
cares.
Your wife going to work.
No one cares. No one cares. Now, as you know, if you go way back.
Now before you start.
Yes.
Miraculous.
I feel it was.
Do you think that there is a chance when this story is concluded that you have oversold it just a tad?
If you know what I did and what it means to me, the word miracle is part of it, if not miraculous.
All right.
But to me, it's that important.
Lay your Thanksgiving miracle.
It is a Thanksgiving miracle. Do you remember roughly 8 or 9 years ago, I received much grief on the terrestrial show for buying a 73-inch television?
I don't know if I give you a lot of crap.
Yeah, there was
that?
some grief.
I remember as a listener, the fact that somebody owned a television that was 73 inches blew my mind.
And think of this is almost a decade ago to have a 73-inch television.
This is in 2000.
I am so out of control of my own life. I went to the judge's house last year for Thanksgiving, and the judge has, I think he's got a 70-inch TV.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 55-incher in my living room.
Right.
And
I don't have a 70-incher.
You have your house. If you put a 70-incher, you'd have to leave it out the front door.
Yeah, it would have to say "Eat it, Joe's." It would be a flashing sign.
It'd have to stick out the front door of your house. I've wanted ever since I saw the judge's TV. I don't go anywhere or go online without showing. I would say, "Hey, look at this deal."
I would say 70 is too much.
Depends on the room.
Oscar.
It's too much TV. I know
If
it's
you're a
crazy to
guy,
say.
If you guys have been in my house,
Yeah.
If I put a 70-inch TV on that far wall and we sat back there, I think that would be big fun watching football.
You would love it. You would love it because
I think it would be
close.
amazing.
I sit pretty close to it.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So anyway, what
okay, it is the technology is 10-year-old technology. It is a DLP.
Oh, the fatback.
No, it's not a
I
fatback.
remember this.
It's not a fatback. It's actually quite slender considering the size of the
Okay,
TV.
how deep is your TV?
What are you in the Bee Gees?
No, how deep is it? Depth.
How deep is your TV?
How deep is
How
your
deep
TV?
is your TV? Turn
really need
direct
to
TV. So we're living in the world of TV. Taking us down to the vote. Turn the channel. How deep is your TV? How deep TV?
All right, you're thinking of like a tube, right? And you're thinking like maybe 2.5 feet. I think the depth of it is about 12 inches.
Okay, too much.
No, it's not.
It's too much these days.
Okay, these days it is, but
Yeah.
I'm talking this is technology
And
10 years
You know
ago.
what they say about the Tubes TV?
What's that?
She's a beauty. That's a DJ joke.
All right,
Pure and simple.
We've done 70s and 80s. The next one has to be from the 90s.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
you know when people walk downstairs, like, oh, they don't like, damn, that TV's awesome. Like, damn, that TV's old.
No, they don't. Because no one comes downstairs. I'm the only one who comes
I
downstairs.
think television. if you don't have like the big
If you don't have a
stand-up giant TV
flat on the
that's-
wall.
if it's on the
Yes.
if it's potential to be wall mounted, then nobody's going to think it's old.
Yes.
Right.
That's the way I
You
look.
can't
at it.
mount your guy.
No, this cannot be wall mounted. This has a stand. I've
Oh, so
apologized.
this-
I apologize for my 14-inch deep television. Okay?
This is an old TV.
It's a 10-year-old TV.
You could resell it for what? Pickup value? $250?
You know what's great about it is that in my house I have room for a television that is that deep.
All right, so you've got an old TV.
Yeah, I have an old TV in my full-size grown-up house.
Yes.
And so it's been getting progressively dimmer and dimmer and dimmer over the past year.
Right.
Because
the bulb.
the bulb is going.
It's dying.
It's dying. And it's sad because in the morning I like to see my faces, like to see my people, like to see it, and it's getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer.
And your eyes are getting worse because you're getting older.
And that doesn't help. And so I just keep pumping up the brightness and the contrast and the brightness and the contrast. And finally, last week, I get the dreaded red light. The bulb, she is out. Gone.
Oh, okay. So it's done.
It's done.
You still get a picture, but it's dark?
No, there's no picture because the bulb is done.
All right.
All right.
I don't know how old technology
So
works.
the red light is an indicator light that it's...
I actually pulled out the manual and I read, and it says the red light means contact a technician because your bulb is dead.
All right.
So I went to the Mitsubishi website and I searched how much it costs to get a replacement bulb. About $150 for the bulb. The TV cost $2,000 in the day.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I'm going to say this midway through this little tale, that if you're talking about what I think you're going to be talking about, I'm all in on this. I'm going to back you 1,000%.
He went
fact
to
that
the
you are,
Mitsubishi website.
This is
Did you buy a car on that site?
This is TV repair. This is big.
I bought
This
a
is
car
fantastic.
and I aimed it for my coworker and I hit the gas. And you know what? No money has ever better been spent. No,
Right.
I found the model number of my television and cross-referenced it to the bulb it takes. And I got that serial number and I wrote it down.
How much was the bulb?
The bulb through Mitsubishi was like $179 delivered, I think. And I said, that seems pricey. So I went to Amazon through
Good
our
man.
portal.
Good man.
There it is.
Found the licensed
bam.
knockoff by Philips, $79 free delivery. But
There
it
you
only
go.
got a 4-star rating. There was a $24 bulb with a 4.5-star rating. Amazon Prime arrived at my house on Friday.
$24?
$24 delivered in
This is-
my hand.
I have to say, Oscar, you know we love to pick on him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all
This is
in
a big
on this
win.
story.
Big win.
So
like
I
this a
went
lot.
downstairs with 6 of my friends to move my gargantuan TV. Actually, no, I just slid it out. And because it's very light, it's just a little deep. And went on the YouTube and watched a video, read the directions, took off the back panel of my television, unscrewed the set screws.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Before you, because I think you might be going on, did you look at the YouTube how-to before you ordered the bulb?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact.
You wanna
So
see how
because
hard
that's what I would have
things are
done,
gonna
and you
be, yeah.
determined
That it was
Hey,
within my skill set.
I've got a Phillips screwdriver. I think I
love
could do
this.
that.
I love this stuff. This is great.
And while the bulb did not exactly match the YouTube video because the screws were a little different because it's not a Mitsubishi product, it was still able to work. And even with my thick, sausage, useless fingers, I was able, after many, many swear words, it was almost like if I had watched a video of me doing this, it would have been watching a video of my dad doing it because I swear like my dad now. I'm so proud because I put the screw in, try to twist it, drop it, S, F, and then CS and MFCS. But
Did you have a magnetized Phillips?
I did, but it didn't help me because the problem is that the set screw went in the upper tiny corner of the light bulb, and there was 2 of them.
So they make it a little tough.
They do. They do not make it easy. They don't make it easy. But I had flashlights and the whole deal. Got it installed. Turned on the TV, and because the TV had been set to
hold on.
Yes.
So you turned on your television,
right? And because
you turned on your set.
Not only did it fire up perfectly the first time, all the color and brightness, it looked like a tanning bed because the brightness was all the way up and the contrast was all the way up and the color was all the way up. It almost knocked me over. So I recalibrated everything. I got out my DVD. I recalibrated all my colors and everything to a brand new bulb. And I went upstairs and I said to Carrie and I said to Julia and I said to Robert, the TV downstairs is fixed. It looks brand new.
So did it look better than it had looked in months?
It honestly looked like when I first plugged it in 2008.
Wow. I'm all in on that. I think that is miraculous. For $24, what would you have paid? At least $500 to pay a repairman.
I was looking to get a new TV. I thought the TV was toast. And it is fantastic. And I said something I almost never say. I said, you know what, guys? I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud that we were able to make this work.
You became a television repairman.
Yeah. That's right. And you know what the family said?
What's that?
That's it.
Yeah, nothing.
Not a word.
Nothing.
They don't
Crickets.
care.
They're like, oh, that cheap bastard.
2 days later, Robert
wanted a
needed
new TV.
2 days later, Robert wanted Scotch tape for a school project, and he came downstairs. He said, hey, that does look pretty good. Can I have the Scotch tape? He didn't care. He just wanted a nicety before he asked for the Scotch tape.
So he was schmoozing.
Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Oh,
and so my family, what do I have to do? What
an
miracles do I have?
bunch.
Yes, bastards.
What an ungrateful bunch. Unbelievable.
What do I
terrible.
have to, what miracle, how much water do I have to turn into wine before they realize what a miraculous day that was?
It's a great feeling when a man can fix his own TV.
Yes.
Right? I don't think that's possible these days with the new technology, but with the old technology, it's like an old turntable.
The old technology of 2008.
I'm trying to find this. I was looking it up, and it seems to be that Costco is bad for you.
What?
Because if
Far
you go to
from
Costco, yes, it's bad for you.
No, not me. It's good for me.
It's not.
Although
it's
I was
not.
able to avoid it the entire long weekend. I did not go
You
once.
didn't go?
No. Yeah, I think it's a Rube weekend. You don't want to hit it this weekend. It was closed, of course, Thanksgiving
First
Day.
of all, before I'm trying to find this article, tell me how often you go, because that is relevant to. Do you use it as your regular groceries?
Pretty much. I would say 2.5 times a week if I went on a rolling average. 2.5, because sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2.
Because you buy in bulk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have the best milk.
What do you mean?
They have organic milk there that's fantastic.
Yeah, but you can buy that at any Giant or Safeway.
Yes, but the milk there is
Hold on,
cheaper
I got it
and tastes better.
Hold on a second.
All right. He's going to excuse himself.
Do they have a little vacuum? I mean, not a little vacuum, a little milk container, the 2-gallon or the 1-gallon guy?
No, what you do is you buy 3 half-gallons in a box. So you're getting 1.5 gallons.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all bulk.
Yeah.
Oh, but I just never bought milk at Costco. I feel like that's too much milk.
Yeah, it'll go bad before you get to it.
Not if you have 2 kids.
Okay.
They go through it because it goes with the cereal that you also buy at Costco.
What cereal do they eat?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a big mover. Carrie loves Cheerios. I'm not a Cheerios guy. I'm not a big cereal guy. But then there's bread, there's eggs, meats.
Yeah, but if you buy in bulk.
This is not Costco specifically. This is club store shopping.
Oh, okay, so it could be Sam's.
Says here, club stores bring together many of America's prized consumer values: efficiency, convenience, and savings. We all know that, right? But people shopping at warehouse club stores like Costco, BJ's, or Sam's Club are spending more on packaged food, making more shopping trips, and taking in more packaged food calories than if they didn't shop at a club store, according to a new study.
Oh,
so that's the problem.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you think you're saving money and getting ahead, but it's not good for your health and it's not good for your pocketbook, says Kuzum Alawadi, a professor at Dartmouth's Tuck School of Business. That's where my nephew went.
Great school.
And my niece's husband.
You only see like press release and PR pieces use the word pocketbook. That's bad in your pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
She says, in a best case scenario, you become a member of a club store, assuming that shopping there will save you money since you're buying in bulk, which means you can shop less frequently. The extra food you buy, you'll keep in your pantry and use over a longer amount of time. Fewer trips, food available, bang for your buck. Things seem good from a financial and health perspective. The problem is that's not what happens, Rob Spiewak.
Oh, no.
Her study found that those who shop regularly at club stores had a 5% increase in the amount of money spent on packaged food per person in the household, a 15% increase in the amount of time spent shopping, and an 8% increase in calories consumed had they not shopped at a warehouse store.
I will give them the calories because when you see big, you eat big. At least I do. And then don't even get me started on the samples.
Rob Spiewak, that'll be on his tombstone.
Yes.
If you see big, you eat big.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people...
I'm Rob Spiewak, and if you see big, eat big. Thank you very much. Let's see.
Buy now and get a copy of the Wonder Bible.
Well, I know that the calories won't bother you, but you will realize that you will spend. It says research found not only are you not saving, you are increasing your spending on packaged food by $3.50 per person.
I would say
per month.
I would say that would go to a Rube shopper, but I'm a pretty smart shopper, and I know what you should buy and shouldn't buy there. Don't go there.
How about the Rob Spiewak go-tos at Costco?
Milk.
What is something that
milk? Eggs.
He buys milk in bulk, Mike.
You buy milk?
I buy milk 1.5 gallons at a time. Does that make me some sort of disaster?
No,
Am I
but
a monster?
you buy
You buy a gallon and a half?
Sure.
How long does it take the family to go through 1.5 gallons of milk?
About a week, maybe a little less.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got milk drinkers in my house.
What do you take your milk? How do you take your milk?
I don't drink a lot of milk. I will sometimes have a glass of milk, like with if I'm having, say, cookies. Yes.
Costco cookies?
Could be.
The ones in the bakery section?
Mike, you can get a container of all chocolate chip cookies, or 1/3 chocolate chip, 1/3 oatmeal raisin, 1/3 white chocolate macadamia.
How many total cookies?
I would say a total of 24 cookies.
Basically, Pony, if you want to figure that out on your terms, that's your allotment for the year.
Yeah, it's a year.
His life.
That's it.
Lifetime of cookies. The
There's an
lifetime cookie
increase-
subscription.
Okay, so you'll say, here's what it said. I like this article. That's why I bookmarked it. You'll say, I paid $99, and I'm going to make sure I get my money's worth by shopping in the club store every chance I get as a way to justify more frequent store visits. Similarly, there's an increase of 2.5 shopping trips per month per person on average. And there are not only more trips, but the warehouse club stores tend to be farther away from people's homes. The supermarket, that doesn't apply to you.
It's the closest store to my home. Because I live in a
that could
great
be a
neighborhood.
problem, though. Because you say you're going 2 times a week.
2.5.
2.5 times.
Well, let's say you run out of cheese.
What's a half trip? What's a half trip?
I'm saying that it's that I would say some weeks are 2, some are 3. So it averages out to 2.5.
Who consumes the most in your household?
Oh, me, obviously.
Okay, just to make sure.
No, really, is that true, or does your boy eat? I mean, he's at
I
that
would
prime
say
eating age.
it's probably pretty close. But if we were to like sit down and actually go head to head and eat, I can still take him. But he is an eater.
I'm putting you on the spot here, but because it always varies dramatically. But is there a standard shopping trip? If you go 2 times a week, you have a standard shopping trip to Costco. Can you give us the items that that are the go-to, your staples, and then maybe throw in a few of the of treat
impulse
day?
buys? Yes. Well, I will tell you. Let's start with the impulse buy because that's why you asked.
I'm throwing the article away now.
That's right. Right now is they lean heavy on pie.
Yeah, I didn't need that computer anyway. That sounded good, didn't it?
Oh boy, that was not a newspaper.
Sorry about no, that wasn't.
I think he's getting a laptop
That's
for
how he
Christmas.
rolls.
Again.
Yeah, something's wrong with my laptop, Oscar. I gotta buy a new one.
I don't know. I just dropped it like I drop a newspaper. It's like a newspaper.
Let me
isn't
put
it?
my old computer down. Okay.
Right now, it's got to be a loss leader, but the $6.99 pumpkin pie, it cannot be beat. It can't be beat. It's about.
This is a regular trip for you.
Oh, this is if we need a pie. This is what I'm going to go to. Now the pecan pie.
But I'm just putting it in your cart.
That's right. The pecan pie is a little overpriced and not as good as a homemade. Will do in a pinch. But the pumpkin pie,
unstoppable.
All right, so this is a regular trip, though,
yes.
not a holiday trip.
No, but I'm back there. Well, tis the season. The pumpkin pie started in
so
September.
you would grab a pie even when it's not like a
because I'm back there.
Because it's pie season. You're back there anyway.
Yeah, I'm back there anyway. You're off the racetrack and you got to stop and you got to get your bread.
It's pie season.
It is pie season.
When do the playoffs start?
The thing is that if you get a pie out of season, it's costly and it doesn't taste as well.
Got to get through this. Come on, we're up on a break.
All right. Milk, cheese, lunch meat, probably like ham or turkey, something like that for the kids, because they take their lunches every day. Bread.
What kind of bread?
White bread. But it's whole grain white bread, if that makes any difference at all.
Whole grain white bread. Very good.
Hot dogs, hot dog rolls, ground beef, apples. Yogurt. I eat yogurt for breakfast every day.
What kind of yogurt? Chobani?
Yeah, the big 20-pack.
700
it's dessert.
Little containers.
I eat it all the time.
But it's great. What the cherry
I'm probably
is the best.
I seriously have the greatest yogurt known to mankind. My wife makes homemade yogurt, and it's
okay.
And homemade preserves.
Now you're bragging.
I'm sorry, I'm bragging. I'm very, very proud of her. I'm very, and that Rob, of course, is making a biological function joke. Right
I'm not going to say anything. Not going to say a word.
I saw the way you reacted. Go ahead. Keep going, please.
Grapes, if they are in season, they have the best grapes there. Apples,
That's
the Honey
healthy.
Crisp have been very, very good.
Very good.
What else? Carrie likes to have carrots and asparagus as a go-to for...
Oh, I saw a news story on, I think it was CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley.
Yeah.
I saw that. I think there is a new apple.
I saw the apple
The
piece.
Cosmic Crisp?
Yes, and it's out in 2018.
Cosmic Crisp. Oh, my God. The Cosmic Crisp.
I almost took out a notebook. Even with Mo Roca, I still was watching.
Yes, I want to be first. I want to be first. I want to be first. Cosmic Crisp.
Cosmic Crisp apples.
Thank
Excellent.
you. Send us those.
Also, canned string beans and canned chili.
Canned chili?
Yeah, that goes with the hot dogs.
That's it?
Oh,
That's
man.
it.
Okay, that'll set
That's
you
a
up.
weekly purchase?
No, those are the standards. When you run out, you re-up on those.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So that's and then of course during pie season. How long does pie? And just to wrap this up,
see big, eat big.
Rob, I'm putting the T. This is T-ball. This is O'Mara Spiewak T-ball right now. And just to wrap this up, Rob, how long? How long does pie season last?
It starts in September and goes until September.
Want more? Make sure you check out the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show. Get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
I'm a phony, just like you. It's in the hole.
The mainstream media has legitimized extraterrestrial life and is basically saying we are being visited, something is going on.